Okay. All right. A very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. Okay. This is the first of a series of 3 webinars that I am doing in collaboration with University Technology Malaysia's library. Okay. So this was brought to you with the help of the library staff. Okay. And there was overwhelming registrations for the session. Okay. We had about 300 in total for registrations. So that so we had to, there was a stop of at 300. Okay, so full registration for today. Hopefully, most of you did not have too much of a difficulty joining us. If you did, as I mentioned just now, just send me some feedback. Okay, so we have another 2 more sessions that are coming up tomorrow as well as Thursday. Okay, but each of these webinar sessions focuses on a specific area of your research as postgraduate students at UTM. Okay. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Okay. So for today's session, what I am focusing on is the Web of Science and how you can use this tool to find good research papers for your own research topics. Okay. And this will focus on the Web of Science core collection. Okay. So a bit of explanation on who the Web of Science are, or who we are. Okay. Originally, back in over 60 years ago, we used to be ISI, Institute of Scientific Information. Okay. So some of your, I see somebody raised their hand. Was there a question? Okay. If you have a question, just feel free to, can you hear me now? Okay, sorry. So if you have any questions, just feel free to type it into the chat box. Thank you. Okay. So our history spans back to over 60 years ago, and we were originally known as ISI, Institute of Scientific Information. So some of your senior faculty members, your professors, might tell you, oh, you need to publish in ISI journal. Okay. So it is the same thing. Okay. We just changed names. Okay. So ISI is Web of Science. Right. So over the years, we changed company from ISI to Thomson Scientific to Thomson Reuters, and today we are part of the Clarivate Analytics company. Okay. So on the screen now, I'm sharing with you 4 key terms, okay, words that I always associate with a researcher. Okay. So I'm going to go through each of these words, and in the back of your mind, okay, I want you to think about what this means to you. Okay, so time. Time as a researcher is of the essence because your research, probably you have only, 3 years at UTM to do your research. Okay, so what you are constrained by time. The next thing is accuracy. Okay, when you do any research, the data that you retrieve or the data that you read from your experiments and so on, they have to be accurate. And the third one, which is novelty, is with regards to your topic of research. So when you want to do research, would you want to so I see that there are still people cannot hear me. Okay. Can I have an indication whether you can hear me? Okay. It seems like some of you can hear us, some of you can't. Okay. It might be due to the bandwidth as well, because everyone is probably on the internet now in this kind of situation. Okay. So just bear with us. For those who couldn't really hear me or missed out some parts, don't worry. There is a recording, and I will send that around to all of you. Okay? Okay, so where was I? Okay, so in terms of novelty, when you want to do your research topic, you want to pick a topic that probably will give you some kind of breakthrough, okay, for your research. Okay, so you won't want to do research that 101 different researchers have already done. Okay, you want something new and novel. Okay, and the final word is impact. So when you do your research, ultimately, what is the impact that you want to look for? Okay, some of you will say, "Oh, I want to graduate. That is my impact." Okay, but as a researcher, okay, the impact that you want to seek is actually in terms of citation, okay, citation count, and of course, the overarching reason all of us are doing research is because we want to make progress in society or to the environment or people around us, for example. Okay? So these are the four key themes or words that I associate with a researcher. Okay? And I think this is a very important four words because this is how the Web of Science core collection was put together. So the philosophy behind Web of Science is around providing you with timely, accurate, and novel ideas for your research that would lead you to impactful research. All right. So when you start doing a topic for your paper, okay, you would probably get some ideas suddenly, okay, after reading a few different articles. So what I call these types of papers that give you an idea, I'll call these the eureka papers because they give you a eureka moment when you've read that article. Okay? So assuming that you have this eureka paper that sparked an idea for your research, okay, how would you use this eureka paper to find more related papers to enhance your topic? Okay, most of the time you would look for the reference list. Okay, so when we talk about related papers, you always want to focus on a comprehensive list of literature that you can look at and read so that you are able to make a very robust research topic for yourself. Okay, so you want to enhance this by including more older papers as well as newer papers. Okay, but from this original article that sparked your idea, you would always start with the reference list. Okay, but the reference list will give you older papers but not newer papers. So how would you find the newer ones? Okay, most of you would start with a new keyword search to search the database again to find more papers on this topic or keywords. Okay, but using keywords has its challenges. So on this screen, I have three words here: water spinach, kangkong, and pakbong. Okay, these three are keywords, but what do they each mean? They are actually the same plant. Okay, all of them are the same plant, just different languages. So take for example, if you were to look for paper about kangkong, if you type in kangkong into a database, okay, sometimes you might miss out on Thai papers that mention pakbong. Okay, sometimes you might also miss out on papers talking about water spinach. All right, so the database that you use will determine how well you can find articles based on keywords. All right. Okay. I think there are still some chat around no voice. Okay. Bear with me. Let me reply to these participants first. Okay. That should address that. Okay. So remember, keywords are good, but there are some minor challenges involved. Okay. So that's why we always advocate to use a citation database. Okay. So the Web of Science is a citation database where we index papers and their reference lists, okay, but we do not index the full text paper, meaning we do not have the copyright to the full text paper. So the purpose of using a database like Web of Science is so that you can explore papers and its relationship with each other faster. Okay, so what is a citation in a database? Okay, in the next slide, I'm actually going to show you an illustration of what these are, what this database is. So you remember our Eureka paper, the paper that sparked an idea for you. Okay, so you have the Eureka paper in the middle, and this Eureka paper will be able to allow you to find the reference list. So this would take you to the older paper. Okay, but because you're using Web of Science and Web of Science indexes the reference list of every single paper, okay, so you will also be able to know what new paper has cited your Eureka paper, and therefore you can click through to the new papers to see. All right, so you can see the older papers in reference list and newer papers in the citation network. And because we index cover to cover, that means every single reference in the paper will be indexed, as in that it will be listed. Okay, we are able to compare multiple papers' reference lists. So when we compare the list, if they share references, meaning out of maybe 10 references, 3 of them are the same, then we consider these papers related papers, related documents, because they share references. When they share references, there is an indication that they are of similar topic and similar nature. Okay? So the third way of finding related materials in Web of Science is through clicking off the related records or related papers. Okay? Now this is an example of how one article looks like within Web of Science. So this is one record. Okay? You will see the article's title. Okay? So let me see. Okay, so you can see the article's title here. You can see the author's name. Okay, you can see the journal information. Okay, the abstract and the keywords. Okay, remember I mentioned about using keywords to search. Okay, sometimes you want to start with a keyword search, but maybe the terms are too broad. So there is an option here called Keywords Plus that is unique to Web of Science. And you can use Keywords Plus to add on to your search string, meaning if you were searching about food health, food safety, okay, and it's about this genetic modification technology that you want to find, okay, then maybe you have some of these keywords that you can add to your search so that you can make your search a bit more specific. Okay, so just take note, Keywords Plus is a unique feature in Web of Science. Okay. Then you have the citation network. Okay. From the citation network, you will be able to see the newer papers and the older papers. Okay. So you will see time cited as 1, meaning this paper has been cited once by a new paper. Okay, so if you click on that number 1, this will take you to that newer paper, more recent paper. That means it has been published probably maybe 2018 or 2019. Okay, if you click on number 45, this takes you to the reference list of this document. Okay, and this reference list will then show you older papers. That means papers older than April 2017. Okay. And the third part here is your view related records. From here, you click through, you can find anything that has shared reference with this original document. Okay. Now on the screen now, I have 3 pictures. I have sand, stars, and journals. Okay, can you think what these 3 things have in common? Okay. So they are similar in a sense that, yes, a lot of data. Hamad replied me, a lot of data. Correct. So all of these exist in abundant numbers, okay, overwhelming numbers. Nobody can count any of these, okay? Well, some people tell me they can count journals, but I think that is a 24/7 job, okay? So just take note, journals, you imagine this, one journal that you read might have multiple issues a year, okay? And within each issue, they have maybe 10 articles. You multiply that by the total number of journal issues they have from when they first started publishing until now. So, and then you multiply that with the number of journals out there, number of topics out there, number of subject category. Okay, so these are maybe trillions of papers. Okay, so imagine this, in 1 year, okay, how many papers can each of you read in 1 week? Okay, fully understand, fully know how to apply the research and so on. Okay, I did this survey when I was able to meet a lot of researchers live. Okay, well, some of you say 4 to 5 papers in a week, very fast. Okay, but most of the researchers tell me they can only read, especially those engineering or very long articles, 1 to 2 a week. Okay, so imagine if you have 52 weeks a year, right? So that means for simplification, it would probably mean 52 papers in 1 year. So imagine if you have to search through, okay, trillions of papers to find these 52 papers to read. Okay, is it easy? I don't think so. Okay, so what we've done at Web of Science is to simplify this process for you. So what we did was we did a survey of about 12,000 or so journals. Okay, and we found that most of the citations came from only a small number of journals. What does this mean? This means that you don't need quantity, you need quality. So the quality of the content that you're searching within, okay, determines how good the outcome you can have. Okay. Okay. So for Web of Science core collection, we don't index every single journal. Okay. We are very selective in the journals that we index. So the journals have to fulfill a very strict criteria before they can be indexed in Web of Science. So now I'm going to explain a little bit more about what is covered, because many of the researchers that I speak to get a bit confused when they say, what is considered Web of Science core collection? Okay, and which of these collections has impact factor? Which one does not have impact factor? So I will take some time to explain this to you so that you are aware. Okay? So the Web of Science core collection is made up of the Science Citation Index Expanded, Social Science, Arts and Humanities, Emerging Sources Citation Index, Conference Proceedings, Books Citation Index. Okay, so everything that is in here is called the core collection. But not every journal in here has an impact factor. Okay. Now on this screen, this is the overview of what the differences of each of these collections are. Okay. So every journal that wants to be indexed in Web of Science core collection has to go through an evaluation process. So a journal will start going through evaluation. If they meet our 24 quality criteria, they will go into Emerging Sources Citation Index. Okay? If these journals fulfill an additional 4 more impact criteria, they will get promoted to the Science, social science, or arts and humanities citation index. All right. So the emerging sources citation index covers all disciplines. The science, as the name says, only covers science. Social science covers only social science. Arts and humanities, only arts and humanities. Okay. Now, which of these collections have impact factor? Only the science and the social science have an impact factor. Everything else, no impact factor. All right. So if your professors tell you you must aim for journals in Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 ISI, okay, what they refer to is these two, SCIE and SSCI. So your journal needs to be in these two categories. Okay. Okay. Some people still have audio issues. Okay. Maybe they join later on. Okay. Let me just see. Sorry about the interruptions. Okay. So that's the difference between each of these indexes within the core collection. Okay, there are some questions around this, so let me address them. I've found a number of journals in ESCI for more than 2 years. When will we have a result whether they will be in core collection or not? Okay, so the question is, there are some journals that have been in ESCI for a very long time, for about 2 years, more than 2 years. When will they have a result for core collection? So the impact evaluation will only be triggered if the journals, number one, estimated impact factor sits fairly square within the Q2 range of the subject category it is supposed to be in. Okay, so it is not an automatic 2 years move up. Okay, so it depends on the impact factor. That's one thing. Okay, and it also has to fulfill the other 4 impact criteria stated in our selection process. Okay, if they cannot, if they do not meet the additional 4 more impact criteria, they can never be promoted up to the flagship indexes. Okay, so Tariq, if you have further questions around this, do let me know and we can discuss offline on the evaluation process of these journals. Okay, Bashir also asked me to repeat, okay, the differences between these collections. Okay, one final repeat that I'll have because it's very important. Okay, so Emerging Sources Citation Index is ESCI. Okay, and it covers multidisciplines. This particular index will only cover the journals that fulfill the 24 quality criteria that we have. Okay, if the journals have additional 4 impact criteria fulfilled, they will then be promoted to this flagship 3 indexes, which is science, social science, and arts and humanities. Okay, and if you're looking for journals that are in Q1 to Q4 of ISI, what you're looking for is SCIE, Science Citation Index, and Social Science Citation Index. Okay, so that's the main difference. Okay, to help you understand this a little bit better, I'm going to use an analogy. Okay, you all know the Olympic Games, right? So every one of us cannot participate as runners in Olympic Games. I think some of you maybe are runners, okay? But for me, I know definitely I can't. So it's the same thing. Only the qualifiers can participate in the Olympic Games. So the qualifiers in this sense are your emerging sources citation index, meaning they are already very good athletes. They just haven't run the race yet. Okay? But once they run the race, okay, and they win a competition, so if they win bronze, silver, and gold medals, okay, they might end up on the podium, which is this tree. Okay, so that's how you kind of remember where ESCI sits and where the other flagship indexes will sit. Okay, so I hope this helps to clarify some of the nagging questions some of you might have pertaining to the journals on Web of Science. Okay. The other thing that is very useful in Web of Science is that, okay, we have a very good, I would say, a very good list of open access articles. Okay, you'll be happy to note that on Web of Science, we have about 20% of open access content. What does open access content mean? Some of you are new. Okay, so open access means basically the research has been published for you to read freely. Okay, so these are open access. Okay, so no subscription is needed. You can just download for free. Okay, so in Web of Science, we have about 20% in terms of open access content. So now I'm going to go to the platform to show you what you can do. Okay, some ask if there's a hands-on session. Okay, there is a hands-on session where which is now. Okay, I'm going to show you a demo of the Web of Science. Okay, so give me a minute. Okay. And someone indicate whether they can see my screen. You should be seeing the UTM Libraries homepage. Okay, great. Okay, so to access Web of Science from the UTM Libraries homepage, you can go to here, e-resources, online databases. Click on this. Okay. I see a question popping up whether there's any attendance taken for this session. Yes, the attendance list will be given to the library so that they are aware who has attended the session. Okay. Now, back to this list. Okay, so to get Web of Science, just go down, the subscribe databases, here under Web of Science. So you just click on this, it will open up the Web of Science page like this. Okay, so because I'm not currently at UTM, okay, so what you see on my screen will look slightly different from what you see at your UTM access. Okay, because I get full access to everything. Okay, whereas for UTM, it's based on what you have subscribed. Okay, so in Web of Science, when you first go in, you will see these few things. Select a database, okay, which would show you Web of Science core collection as a default. Okay, and then basic search, author search, cited reference search, advanced search. You will not see structure search. Okay, so this is not part of your subscription. You see all the way until here, advanced search. Okay, in terms of your time span, you will be seeing, I believe, 1975 onwards. Okay, so when you log into Web of Science via the UTM library IP address, okay, on campus, okay, when you go into Web of Science, you will be able to see which year you have access to. Okay. So if it's the first time you're using Web of Science, probably you want to do a quick search of a topic of your area of research. Okay, I'm going to search for something that is hot in everyone's mind now, which is coronavirus. Okay, so I'll type in the keyword. Okay, this would give me a very big number. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change this year range to something a bit more manageable. All right, so I'm going to do maybe past 20 years, okay, 2000 to 2020. Okay, one thing I want to explain to you here is the search fields. There are multiple search fields here. Okay, so if you are searching for a research topic, you can choose topic. But alternatively, there are multiple fields that you can search here because we index everything. Okay, so you can just scroll through and hover over each of this, and you will find an explanation of what these are. Okay, if time permits, I'll show you a search using this one, Organization Enhanced, and you can see UTM's research output in Web of Science. Okay, so now I'll start with topic first. So coronavirus. Okay, if you want to build more fields, search more fields, you can add row so that you can add more things to search. Okay, so we can start with coronavirus. Okay, there's 15,774 papers currently in the Web of Science core collection. Okay, and it's a very long list, right? So how would you limit this down to your 52 papers that you can only read in 1 year? Okay, a few ways. The first way is to sort this by time cited. Okay, so if you click on time cited, this will give you the most higher cited papers at the top. Okay, and these are probably your must-read papers. So you can check the check boxes here and select the ones that you want to read. Okay, and you can add to marked list. Okay, the marked list is something like a bookmark. So you bookmark. So as you go through this process of looking for articles for your research, okay, you can mark them, and as you mark, it will create a list here. Okay, and at the end, you can actually go in, do a simple registration for yourself, personal account, okay, and then you can save that list for your research. Okay. So this is the first way, meaning you sort by time cited. The other option you can do is there is a more button here. Click on more. Usage count last 180 days, meaning 6 months. Okay, the last 6 months. Okay. So what would this do? This will basically sort the papers based on its use. Okay, these would indicate that these are papers that are of interest to a lot of people now, but they may not have been cited yet. Okay, these are newer papers. So you can see here, published in February 2020, okay, February 2020, April 2020, okay, and the usage count is here. 180 days was 941. Okay. So what constitutes one use? Okay, if it was added to a reference manager tool like EndNote, okay, that means somebody used it as a reference for his reference list, okay, or somebody clicked on retrieve full text. Okay, if they clicked on retrieve full text, that is counted as one use. Okay, so again, you can add this maybe 4 to your list, add to marked list. Okay, and you can see here now it changes to 8 papers. Okay, some of you might want to ask also, is it possible to add these into my reference manager? Okay, yes. So if you click on this tool, for example, you have an export function here. Export to EndNote desktop. Okay, so you just add, click export to EndNote desktop, it will automatically populate. If you have other reference management tools, okay, just go to other file formats, okay, and choose the record and just choose other reference software. Okay. Now I'm going to go into one of these papers. If you want to export this into Excel, that is also possible. So like what I showed you just now, export, other file formats. Okay. If you want the full record, okay, just select full record, file format, tab delimited windows, okay, or Mac, depending on what you are using. Okay. So this would be how you retrieve this into Excel format. Okay. But do take note, exporting the items here, okay, there's a limit. So if you want the full record information, you need to download 500 at a time. Okay, so there's a limit to the number of full records you can download. So meaning if this is a 15,000 records results found, okay, and you want to export this whole 15,000, you basically need to do 1 to 500, and then 501 to 1000, and then 1001, and so on. Okay, so many, many times. Okay. The other thing that I will show you now is also, okay, on the left, okay, there are some filter results here. Okay, two things here: highly cited and hot papers. These two fields you cannot view at UTM because this requires a subscription to ESI or Insights, okay, which is a different tool that we have. Okay, so because UTM does not subscribe to those, then you can't see this. But ultimately, this is one click to show you what are the highly cited papers in their field. So it doesn't just look at time cited, it compares the time cited against the field of that paper. Okay, so it's a bit more accurate in terms of highly cited papers. Hot papers is also something like your usage count last 180 days, but again, this is normalized based on the subject field and publication year. Okay, and this usually covers papers that are in the top 0.1% of citations for their field. Okay, so just take note, these two you do not have access to. You also will not have access to this associated data because this requires additional subscription. Okay, but you will have access to this open access. So remember just now I said that in Web of Science you get at least about 20% of open access content. Okay, so because my topic search today was on coronavirus, a lot of publishers are basically giving the research freely. Okay, there was a lot of free access. That's why this is currently at 13,000 versus 15,000. Okay, so if you just want the free content, you can always just filter this based on open access. All right. So now I'm going to go into one record to show you how it looks like. Okay. So this is information of about one particular record in Web of Science. Okay. You will be able to see the author's information. Okay. The time cited is here. Okay. The abstract. Okay. And the author's affiliations will all be listed here as well. Okay. So and if there's a corresponding email address, we will include this here and you can contact the author. All right. If there was funding agencies involved, we will also reflect this on the article. Okay. And if you scroll further down, this is your reference list for this paper. Now the difference between the reference list that you see on Web of Science versus the full text PDF, okay, the main difference is, number one, on the Web of Science, you see the time cited next to each of the references. What does this mean? From here, you can further identify articles that are worth your time to read. Okay? And if you're keen, you don't need to resubmit a search. Okay? If it's indexed in Web of Science, if you click on the link, it will take you to that paper, that paper's abstract. Okay? So that's the beauty of the reference list here on the record. If you want to download this as a full text, there are a few options. Okay? The first option is just go to free full text from publisher, or okay, you can install this software called Copernio onto your browser. Okay, I'm not sure whether any of you have used it before. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to just type in the URL here into the chat box and you can copy and paste into your note. Okay, so you have UTM, so you have Copernio link here. So we have this on Firefox and Chrome. You can install this into your browser. Okay, and once it has been installed, you might be prompted for a registration. You might be asked, what is your affiliation? Then you choose University Technology Malaysia. Okay. So why is that important? Because we need to indicate that you are from UTM so that Copperniel can also search your university library subscription. Okay? And we will then pull out your university's access to these journals and these articles, and you don't have to worry whether or not you have access to this. Okay? So once you've registered, installed, this is how it looks like. See on the bottom left of my screen. So when I was browsing through, Copperniel was actually searching to see whether there's any PDF or full text PDF I can find. So it managed to find a full text PDF. Immediately, just click View PDF. No need to search again, yeah? So just click and immediately you will see the full text in front of you. All right? Here. Now, this is still currently on the cloud, which is your Copperniel locker. Okay, so what you need to do now is then download this to PDF onto your computer. Okay, and that's it. Okay, so I hope you make use of this tool. It's free of charge, by the way. Okay, so just go in and install for your browser. Okay, it works for most, not just Web of Science. So if you use other journal websites or you're browsing through any other databases, if there's full text included, then you will see this View PDF. All right, so try that. Okay. Are there any other questions? Let me see the chat box. Okay. Okay. So, by doing this, this will then ensure that you have access to your library subscriptions as well as the open access content. Okay, so you don't have to worry about checking, did the library subscribe to this journal or not? Can I get the full text or not? Okay, so Copperniel will help you to verify. All right. Okay, so that's all I have for today's session to show you how you can retrieve articles for your own topic. Okay, one final thing before we go or answer more questions. Okay, I will show you how you can search for UTM papers. Okay, University Technology Malaysia. So I'm going to keep this to year 2000. Maybe we can do all years. Let's do all years, okay? So you can choose all years, okay, and change this field to Organization Enhanced. Okay, what is Organization Enhanced? If any of you on this call have published papers before, okay, sometimes you will put your affiliation as UTM. Sometimes you will put it as University Technology Malaysia. Sometimes you put Department of Engineering UTM. And then there are so many different variations of your affiliation name. Alright? So what we did in Web of Science is we combine all these different variants in affiliation name into one. Okay? So what this means is if you choose Organization Enhanced, you can click here, select available organizations. Okay. You can look for technology. I can't remember whether it's a K. I think it's a K. Yeah. Technology Malaysia, fine. Okay. So you see here, University Technology Malaysia. If you click on this D, you can see how many different variations you have. Okay. You see, you even have A, B, C, D, E, F, Univ Techno Malaysia. Address Univ Techno Malaysia. ComScience Info. So all these different ones, what we've done is we've actually unified them and put them into one, which is University Technology Malaysia. So if there's any faculty members on the call today, okay, one thing you can do to make this a bit more accurate is to have a look at this list of name variants. If any of these don't belong to you, let us know, and then we can clean up a bit. Okay, otherwise it will just remain as it is. Or if there's any variance that is missing, okay, let us know and we can add that back in. Okay. So if you want to just unify all these variants together, just click here. Next to this one, organization name, just click add and then OK. All right, so from here you can search, start searching. So UTM has 30,579 papers altogether in WAS, okay, currently up to date. Okay, so something interesting for you. Okay, there are some additional features on Web of Science that I will cover in my next session tomorrow as well as Thursday. Okay, so if you've registered for those two sessions, I will cover more tomorrow. All right. So there's time for some questions. Is there any restrictions? I can't find UTM from the affiliation list at Web of Science login page. Okay, so what you mean is once you log in here, okay, what you need to do is under basic search, choose organization enhanced, okay, and you select available organizations from the index and you find technology with the K, okay, and from here you can then search for the organization. Alternatively, if that wasn't your question, okay, if you were talking about the institutional logos and the name, okay, you should be seeing University Technology Malaysia here under the logo that I have here, which is Clarivate. Okay, so if you don't see that, means you do not currently have access. So maybe something that you can raise with me or the library. Okay. Another question is there any restriction on number of papers viewed through Copernio? There is a restriction. I think there's a I can't remember, was it 2 gigs or 2 meg? Okay, there is a limit. But if you share, if you recommend Copernio to a friend and your friend signs up, okay, then you will have increased space in terms of your locker space. Okay. All right. Then okay, some of you registered for tomorrow, but there's no link. Okay. Check your junk folder, your junk mail. Sometimes it goes into junk mail because it's a generic email that comes from WebEx. Okay, so just check that and make sure that you can find the link. If you don't find that link, just email me and let me know. I'll check for you. Okay. Okay. So if any journal is Q1, does it necessarily mean that it is impact factor and indexed in WAS? So you have to be specific. Okay. The journal is in Q1, ISI or Web of Science. If they say it's Q1 ISI Web of Science, then yes, it has impact factor. Okay, but join us for tomorrow's session. I will go through more details on the Q1 and to Q4 differences. Okay. There's also another question about how we can find Q1 to Q2 papers and so on. Okay, that will be covered tomorrow. All right. Okay, and that's it. Let me share my slide because that would include the registration information. Okay, so take out your phones. Okay, you can do a QR scan right now so that you can do your registration. Okay, take note, the session on Thursday has already been fully registered. Okay, so currently not open for more because if we open more, then there'll be more technical difficulties. Okay, so but rest assured, due to the popularity of this series, I'm working with the library to launch more sessions in the coming months. So just watch out for that. Okay, tomorrow's session is still available. I think we are currently at close to 280 or so registrations. So do register fast. All right. Okay, for those of you who can't scan, okay, hang on. Let me copy. Oh, so let me just help you to type. Okay. Let me just type the second one. Wait. Okay, give this a try. This should take you to the registration page. Let me just double check, yeah? Yeah, so this is the registration for tomorrow. Okay, and I've already pasted that into the chat box. Okay, so last thing, this is my email address. Again, let me copy this in case you need to copy it somewhere. Okay, so if you have any difficulties, just reach out to me. I believe my email address is also in the registration emails and the confirmation emails. Okay, so feel free to reach out to me. If you cannot register for second session, means that it's probably full. Okay, so I do apologize. All right, but rest assured, just drop me an email. I will try to send you the recording if you were not able to register. Okay, but we will send the whole series of 3 recordings probably next week to all of you. Okay, for attendance, don't worry, the attendance list will be provided to the library, so the library will know who has attended the session. All right. Okay, so I apologize again for the earlier on technical difficulties. Okay, I will work on it and improve on that for tomorrow. Okay, so for those of you who registered, I'll see you tomorrow. So stay safe. Bye.